Today, we want to have a discussion and some tips around what to do, how to manage through volatile stock investing markets. We do get that question a lot from clients. We don't get that question, but we can feel it with clients. So yeah, good one to talk through. So I'll pose a question. So what do you recommend? How do you manage through volatile markets?
My thought about how to manage is really in three parts. The first thing is like defensive management. So, and that's kind of twofold. So the first thing is if you are close to retirement, in retirement, or retired, a down market can be pretty scary. And so one of the things that we want to do on the defensive side is look at our spending, right? If we're spending out of the portfolio, we want to look at, hey, are we spending more than we need to? Can we tighten up? So we want to really evaluate cash flow. It can be indicative of maybe a recession that's coming, or maybe this could be prolonged. So we want to make sure that we are doing our part to keep our expenses low when we need to. The other side of defensive is around the actual portfolio. So this goes for folks who are in accumulation years, so 30s, 40s, 50s, or for people who are in retirement, that we want to make sure that our portfolio is intact, right? So that could be rebalancing. That could mean that we look and say, hey, our portfolio we might have wanted it to be 50-50 stocks and bonds, but we might be overweighted in some areas. So we want to make sure that we're rebalancing to make sure that we can, play defense and that we are retaining as much money as possible, even though the stocks are falling, even though the portfolio might be going down in value while we're watching it. So that's defense, right? We want to do defense on cash flow, defense on portfolio. The second part is offensive. If you are investing money, keep investing, right? And this is really for our accumulators, our wealth creators, the folks who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, who either maybe through your 401k, you are buying every paycheck into the stock market, keep doing that. If you are buying systematically in a brokerage account or something like that, keep doing that, right? So we want to stay offensive. We want to continue to buy. And the reason is that we're buying at discounted rates. So if 6 months ago, the portfolio was here and it's down 20%, that means that the stocks are on sale, 20% sale, right? It's Black Friday for some of these stocks. And if they're good and if they're valuable and we did a good job buying them in the first place, they should return, right? And so when we look at all the down markets, right, they do return, and people are rewarded for having continued to buy through down markets. So that's how we want to stay offensive. We want to continue to buy if we're buying, and not be afraid of those companies going out of business or things like that. We want to make sure that we're staying offensive. The other way we can be offensive if we are in retirement, there's some things that we can do to put ourselves in a better position later on. So that could be Roth conversions, our ability to transition some of our traditional dollars into Roth dollars. And if we do that in a market downturn, we pay less tax because the dollars are lower when we do the conversion. And then we let the money increase in Roth dollars long term. So just long term, we could be aggressive and do some of those things, and the tax impact is really good. And so that's how we want to make sure that we are staying offensive in the portfolio if we're close to retirement or getting there. So first, let's play defense. Second, let's make sure we continue to play offense because our goals are still there, right? 5 years out, 10 years out, 20 years out, we still have things that we want, and we can't be too afraid to continue to chase those. And the third piece I have is really around mindset. Let's take a breath. Let's zoom out a little bit that the media, the news, the financial news cycle can make you feel like it's the end of the world, like this has never happened before. But typically it has happened before. And if we might have to go back 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, right? A global pandemic, we might have to see what that looks like, but we can zoom out. It may not have happened in America before, but it may have happened in Britain, or it may have happened in parts of Europe So if we zoom out, this has happened before. And there are usually penalties for succumbing to the fear. And there are also usually privileges to staying on track. So we want to zoom out. We can look at some scenarios, and we know that typically a down market rebounds within 2 to 3 years, that we're usually not getting to a third year of a down market. And so if we've done our job well, which means that we have cash on hand, if we've done our job well, that means our portfolio is matched to how much risk we can take for our financial plan based on our goals, that we can stay calm and stick to the plan. And in the long term, we can look at history. You can lean on people who've been through down markets to say that we'll come out of this. So let's play defense, then let's play offense, and then let's mentally prepare ourselves by zooming out and putting it all in context.
Being mentally prepared, I think, is also important to have the right mindset around what the expectations of the money are, right? So we're not using it until retirement or a later stage in life, one, but also the expectation of money's going to go up, but it's also going to go down. And so, one, you don't need it right away. And two, at some point between now and then, the money will go up and the money will go down. So just being aware of that, being prepared for that. It will go down. It will be uncomfortable, but we knew this was going to happen. So
yeah, I do like expectations, and we can only be disappointed in life when life doesn't look like our expectations. And so we should only be afraid if we didn't expect down markets. So one of the stats that we talk about is usually 1 out of every 4 years, the market is down. That's like going back to 1926, that if you go, 74% of the time, the market is up from January 1 to December 31st. So that doesn't mean that in between there in July or in August or certain quarters aren't down. But from year to year, we've been up 3 out of every 4 years on average. That means that 1 out of every 4 year, you're going to feel a downturn, or your dollars are going to go back from when you wake up in January to when you wake up the next January. And we should be prepared for that. Once out of every 10 years, we have a 20% reduction, which is, a correction, a recession, a depression, however you say it. And that means that once in every decade, on average, it's going to be scary, right? And so, once a decade, we're going to go backwards to a point that most people who are investing for the first time have never seen their own dollars decrease like this. But it's important to know that it sounds sometimes not comforting, but this is normal, right? Corrections are normal. So I agree. Expectations are a big deal.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to subscribe. If you want to learn more about how we serve our clients, visit our website at www.alchemistwealth.com.